So Surge, I'm gonna give you 3 pretty common things that happen in this matchup. Okay, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1. Alright, so here's the most common thing, Surge. The most common thing that's going to happen in this matchup is, you know, Abel's going to try to walk forward and step kick you, right? So, Surge, when it comes to practicing in training mode these scenarios, there's 2 major things you want to understand. You want to understand how to whiff punish a strategy, but you also want to understand how to aggressively poke a strategy, okay? And you need to try to think about what the opponent is capable of as far as reaction time in order to really come up with effective strategies in Theory Fighter, okay? Ultimately, if you want to stop an Abel from walking at you, you need to try to stick out a button before he gets to your face, okay? You want to try to make him walk into it, okay? Surge, something you'll want to understand about Footsies is that the range of a normal isn't exactly what it appears, okay? Look at how big the space is between Cody and Abel right now. Look at how big that... Look, the box... Look at the menu box. The menu box is the width of how far apart Cody and Abel are right now, right? This is how far apart they are. But if you and Abel both walk forward for like a fraction of a second, then your hard kick is in range. And your forward hard kick is in range. Even your crouching medium kick would be in range. If both of you walk forward for just a tiny fraction of a second, then you're in range at that point. So what you want to understand, Surge, is if Abels are walking towards you, you want to try to pick moments where you think they'll keep walking. Okay, look at this. Look how far away this is. Hard kick is not in range, right? Hard kick is not in range. You see that? A tiny walk forward, when combined with an opponent's walk forward, suddenly makes all your normals useful again. So what you want to do, Surge, is you want to try to predict when the Abel player will walk forward and stick a poke out before they get to the range where they were going to pick their poke. If you time this properly, they'll run into it. You won't get a counter hit or anything, but it'll discourage them. It'll be like, damn, maybe I shouldn't walk forward so much. And then, if you walk forward, you can press that issue. But there's another way to stop an Abel from doing this strategy. Okay? Say we're at the same spot. The other way to avoid this strategy is when the Abel walks forward, you want to predict that he's going to poke you at a certain time. If you make this prediction, then you want to walk at the same time as him and try to stay out of that spot. Because if he's saying, I'm going to walk forward for just a tiny second and then attack, and you're walking backwards that entire time, then he's going to miss. And if he misses, that opens up with punishment, but you have to be predicting it. Remember what I said in my video. You have to be walking backwards just before he starts walking in order for you to actually properly be out of range to do something here. Okay, there's lots you can do. Crouching medium punch and crouching fierce punch are going to be your best with punishers as Cody. With crouch fierce, you should be able to get a fierce tornado, or even a medium ruffian, or even a low ruffian. I would probably go for a low ruffian here. Because if you go for low ruffian, you get all the damage. On the tornado, you're going to miss a brunt of the damage. Okay? So, if you predict Abel's pokes, then you can walk out of them and whiff punish them. And also, if you predict his movement, you can just take a tiny step forward and your normals are suddenly in range. Okay? You can do this with pretty much all of Abel's normals, standing light kick, standing medium, forward medium kick. You can whiff punish most of his good normals with the same stuff. The question becomes, what if the Abel player is looking for your normals? And Surge, ultimately, you could just switch, you could just reverse the roles and say, well, if I was Abel and Cody whiffed one of these in my face, how would I whiff punish that? Or what poke would I use if I was predicting that Cody would poke? You know, I don't think I need to go through all the options, but Surge, what I want you to understand is that a top-level player understands all of these possibilities and chooses particular ones to focus on based on their style. A low-level player understands few or none of these opportunities and only fights using basic strategies that are not planned, that are not intended to be the next moment. Low-level players use strategies that will only work right now. But higher-level players will use strategies that will work in a moment. That's one of the major. That's ultimately the difference in footsies or in a neutral game attempts. Okay, is understanding that your opponent walking forward or back can play into your hands in the footsies. And so you'll want to look at your longest range normals and say, well, if they walked forward for just a second, then what's the effect? Look at this. Look at this. I'm like 2/3 of the screen away. Cody's hard kick doesn't reach this far, right? It doesn't. But if you know when they're going to walk forward for just a step, all of a sudden you're in range. And I covered this with the Ryu Adon example. Like if the Adon walks forward and Ryu walks forward and all of a sudden crouch medium kick reaches, it's the same concept, different characters. Okay? So Surge, if you're practicing for a matchup like say this one, all you really want to think about is, okay, if my anti-air is strong and they don't want to jump, then I want to be using these pokes in an attempt to aggressively stop them from getting into my space, or I want to be using these pokes in case they whiff and I predicted those and I walk out of the range of it, and I'm going to buffer those pokes into something so I get more than just the normal. In Cody's case, low fierce can go into low ruffian or even medium ruffian. Medium punch. Oh, oops. Low medium, not back medium. Should be able to get you medium ruffian. In both cases, you should be able to get super. Crash! Finish! If you have 4 bars, you can really do something with it. If you really want to blow all 4 bars. But every button they press is an option. It's an option for you, not just for them. Every button they press could be whiff punished, or you could aggressively poke it, but it depends on where you're standing, and you have to think ahead. Don't play in the now, play in the next moment. This is how you plan for matchups. You know? This is how you win bad matchups. Okay, I'm able, there's Zangief. How do I poke his standing medium punch? Well, I can do it, but I have to know the spot to stand and I have to know the normal, you know? Because I'm going to put this on YouTube, let's create another scenario. Let's random. Let's do this. Footsies, every character in the game. Random. Let's do this. Alright. Oh god. Woo! Alright, this will be tough. Oh god. Alright. No, actually it won't be that tough. It won't be that tough, actually.
It's the battle of the century. Fight!
Alright. So, number 1. Hakan is oiled right now, and that kind of changes everything. Fuck. Why did I get Hakan? Alright. Here we go. So, here's what you need to understand. Hakan! Hakan! And let's say he's being aggressive. Just high! Yep. See, this far away. Like, if you know that the Guile player is going to be walking forward for a second, then there's all kinds of pokes you can use with Hakan. He's fucking great at this shit. Hakan is good at this, by the way. This is one of the things he's good at. Because of all those command normals he's got like an excellent suite of counter pokes. A suite. S-U-I-T-E. A lot of them. Okay. Standing Fierce is not one of those good ones. But if you predict that your opponent is going to walk forward and press a button, you have tons of options for aggressive poking and for reaction with punishing. You really do. Oh, miss. See if I can make forward medium punch work. I mean, that's a bit crazy, but my point is, it doesn't matter which characters they are. If you know they're gonna walk forward, if you know that they're gonna walk forward for just a hair, all of a sudden, all kinds of options become available to you as far as aggressive poking goes, you know? Remember, there's two ways to beat normals. There's whiff punishment, and there's putting a normal in that spot before they get there so that you get the counter hit, okay? If you know they're going to walk forward, Hakan has plenty of examples, even against Guile. And you know what? Forward Fierce, you might say, oh, well, Guile's Forward Fierce lives him really open in the low spot. It doesn't matter what normal I pick with Guile. There's going to be options. Assuming we're talking about one of his pokes that actually has range, assuming we're talking about any of his good ones, there's going to be a way to stop it as Hakan. There's going to be. This is the number one thing to learn about Footsies is there's always an answer. Always. So find it, because it's there. Ooh, that's not a good one. I mean, as far as aggressively poking here, it would be pretty much the exact same options, because remember, when you're aggressively poking, you're not trying to contend with the normal. You're trying to hit him before the normal comes out. So when you're aggressively poking somebody that's walking forward, the normals that you pick to do that job will be the same throughout the entire match. If they hit you, then you were too late on your attempt to aggressively poke. Okay? If their normal is out, then your ability to whiff punish will depend on which normal they throw. Because whiff punishing this, you know, may be a little bit different than whiff punishing his forward fierce or his standing fierce. You know what? I have a better example here. Because with crouch medium kick's case, the answers are going to be mostly the same. Oh, see, I was too close. I was too close to attempt that whiff punish. Ooh, see, fierce slide doesn't combo there. I'm going to have to try something else. Nope, slide, the fierce slide doesn't combo. Let me try EX slide. That doesn't combo either. Okay, so in this case, the difference between Guile's forward fierce and Guile's crouching medium kick, if I were a Guile player, I would not be using forward fierce a whole lot against Hakan. I would not. Just say! Because forward fierce opens him up for possible slide combo counters, but like in this case here, if I counter poke his his crouching medium kick, I'm not able to get a slide combo. Okay, maybe it's gonna be different with oil. I don't know. Oh, I'm too close. You think you're at the right distance, but then you crouch and then you're too close. That was a trade. That was too early. So this is supposed to be cooking oil, right? I don't believe him. It's actually Astroglide. Yeah, I don't think that changes much. Yeah, I honestly... I'm gonna try one more time. Yeah, I don't think the oil changes much, honestly. So if I were Hakan in this scenario, I would think about the rewards here. If I whiff punish his crouch medium kick, I don't really get anything. All I get is the normal unless I want to go for some sort of shenanigan on a focus cancel. It's much more rewarding if I'm Hakan to go for the aggressive counter to stop him from walking. It's much more rewarding to do that. Much more rewarding. Because then I get all the kinds of crap, okay, depending on what I hit him with. So, if I'm a Hakan player playing against the Guile, and Guile's walking forward, because of what I've just seen in training mode, I'm saying, Whiff punishing some of his normals is going to get me that slide, but not all of them. So I need to consider, if I'm predicting normal X, maybe I'll want to aggressively poke because there's a better reward. But if it's normal Y, then I'll go for a Whiff punish so I can get that slide combo. You see what I'm saying? This is how you plan for matchups. This is how you think about footsies in terms of character specifics. You say, if they're going to attempt poke X, I have to find which poke Y I can use to beat it on Whiff punish, and I have to find which group of pokes I want to use if I want to stop them with aggressive poking. There's one more example I want to try in this matchup because I think it's going to be a little more likely. This one seems to be like more of a problem normal. This one would probably be really, really hard to space. Yeah, I'm pretty sure crouching medium kick is out of the question here in this particular scenario. Yeah, crouching medium kick is out of the question. So in this case, monkey business. That's a good one. Now you know what Hakan's crouching hard kick is for. It's not a trip. It's not really. You're just supposed to counter. Oh god. Okay. So again, if you wanted to poke aggressively, you still have the same options. You still have crouch fierce, you still have forward fierce, forward hard kick, and all that other cool stuff. If you want to counter poke this, if you want to whiff punish this, I would suggest forward medium punch. Hakan! Or crouch hard kick. Alright. Sorry if that was loud. Sorry if you're wearing a headset. But Hakan has options. If you predict that he's going to walk forward and poke you, you walk back out of the range. And if the Guile player is just going to keep walking and not let you walk out of range, then if you would have aggressively poked, you would have gotten him. This is the basic, flow of the footsies. Is he going to keep walking, or is he going to walk and then walk back? Walk and then walk back. And that's why people are, walking back and forth into and out of each other's ranges. If you're not being conscious of the ranges of particular pokes that you're looking for, like if I'm trying to make Hakan whiff his crouch hard kick, or I'm trying to make Guile whiff his forward fierce, if you're not thinking of those specific normals, then you walking back and forth has no strategic merit whatsoever. Okay? If you just walk back and forth like this, and you're not looking for something specific, then you walking back and forth has no merit. It has merit when you're going to use the spacing between the characters in an attempt to make a read on the normal they're going to pick so that you can get something out of it. That's when shuffling back and forth has merit. Without that, it's pointless. And that's the difference between a high-level and low-level player. If you walk like this, and then you throw a crouching hard kick out at a range where it's not supposed to work, and you get me, then I'm like, damn, was he predicting that? But then if you just keep throwing them later on, then I'm going to have to assume that no, you didn't, This is a way that you can size up an opponent, by the way. If you notice that an opponent doesn't really think about your normals as you're playing, doesn't really adjust their spacing in a specific way to counter those normals, then you should recognize that and say, okay, he keeps standing at this spot. That means if I just use this normal over and over again, it's just not going to work. And you know what I haven't talked about? I haven't even talked about focus attacks. I haven't even bothered. And you know what? That's probably going to be another video. Honestly, it's a generally good counter poke for people, because if you predict a normal just a little early, then you can crumple with a level 2. And, it's terrible on whiff. That's if you want to use focus attacks in the footsies, you want to predict something so you can get that level 2 crumple. That's basically it. Unless The rest of it is like reaction to fireballs or focus backdash to try to gain some ultra meter without really trying to be aggressive, stuff like that. So, you know. But you want to be conscious of all the ways that you can beat normals with just walking and normals in any matchup. Any matchup. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't. Every set of characters I could pick, this is going to happen. Able DJ! Oh boy! Oh, this is a good one. This is a good one. No!
Are you ready? Fight!
Don't you hate it when a DJ uses his crouching slide at the tip range so it's safe? Don't you hate that shit? Why don't you whiff punish it then? Walk out of the range. Okay. You can totally walk out of the range if you're far enough away here. Like, the thing is, if you're too close, this is something I haven't really gone over in depth. If you're too close to an opponent and you attempt to walk out of range for whiff punishment, then you'll notice that your block is forced. This is what's called proximity guard. Okay. If you're holding backwards and an opponent throws an attack out, there is another box. I mean, there's hit boxes, there's hurt boxes, there's throw boxes. There's another box that appears. It's represented by a long yellow rectangle that usually reaches further than all the other ones, and it's called the proximity guard. Okay? So when DJ throws crouching hard kick, there is a certain amount of range where if you're holding back and you're in that range, it forces guard. And different attacks have different lengths and different distances of proximity guard. But if you're too close, then your guard is forced, and when you're trying to walk out, you're stuck standing and you eat the low. Okay? So if you're this close to DJ, you don't have time, especially if you're able, you don't have time to walk out of the range. You're going to have to block low if you're at that range. So what you want to recognize is what the difference in the range is. Okay? If I'm here, this is just about as... There we go. I mean, you can use training mode to quantify this, but when you're here, when his standing jab is just sort of brushing my fingernails here, if I try to walk back at the same time as he walks forward, I'm going to be too close. Doing my fingernails. He's going to be too close. And in fact, I'm pretty sure I can get it a little more than that. You see that? If I try to walk out of the range to try to get a whiff punish or something, he'll be too close. So I have to be further away. I have to be out here. If I'm out there, then it's going to whiff. And then you can get something. So this is where Abel wants to play his footsies, okay? Over here, if DJ throws something out, Abel can whiff punish easily. And so, the DJ player, if they're smart, will recognize this and say, okay, the Abel is standing at a range where none of my normals work, so I need to not throw them. I need to not. I need to throw max outs, or I need to back up, see if I can annoy the Abel player, and see if I can't make him walk towards me by playing the clock. Another thing the DJ player could do is the DJ player could walk forwards and do nothing to see if he can get a reaction out of the Abel player. If DJ walks forward, then Abel is in range of his pokes. It's a question of how the Abel responds to the aggression from DJ. But the point is, if you hate DJ's crouching hard kick, you want to stand at about this half screen range so that if you know when he's going to walk forward to do it, you can absolutely walk